Hello, I'm Jesse.
And I'm Dave.
We are PlusCode.
Yeah.
And we wanted to take a few minutes and introduce you to our process, a process we call our Until You Love It process. But if we're working on a website together, this is the process we go through with all of our customers. It's a 5-step process.
It is.
Discovery and scoping. I guess that's two things, but we call that step one, just understanding what the project's all about. We'll talk about that in a minute. Design, development, and content, what we're going to put inside that design, testing it to make sure it's ready to go, and then launching it. So those are the 5 steps, and we'll just walk through those a little bit. You want to talk a little bit about discovery?
We'll start into discovery and some scoping. So with discovery, it's fascinating for me because that's when we start to learn the most about you, and we kind of learn about the organization and what you're doing, what you're working on, how you got into it, why you do the things you do, why do you help the people that you help, and from that we begin to build out the entire process by knowing you at such a intimate level, being able to understand more about what you're doing and kind of build off of that going forward.
Yeah, I think even beyond, of course, getting the information we need so the project can be a success. You and I find ourselves going like, we really like these people.
Yeah.
Like we're more excited to help our customers after the discovery process than we were going in, because we've gotten to know you and hopefully you've gotten to know us a little bit along the way. But yeah, we end up it really builds our enthusiasm for the project in that discovery process. And some of the customers that we work with might just be a solo person, an entrepreneur working on a passion project. Sometimes it's an organization, so the process can look different depending on if it's just one person or if we're getting to know maybe a team of leaders or a team of people that are engaged in actually working on this website, depending on the size of the organization. But whatever it is, we're going to be asking questions about preferences, what kind of things, color schemes, designs feel good to you, what kind of things don't, maybe other websites that you've encountered that you hated using, and maybe why, ones that you love using that you might want to use as a model. So a whole range of questions, from things that have more to do with the heart and feeling and emotion to practical things like preferences, needs, the kinds of customers or people that you expect to be visiting your website that you really want it to serve well, what kind of experience you want them to have when they come, what would be a real win, whole set of questions around that.
Yeah, and you might be thinking like, what do I have to do to prepare for this?
Right.
You can do as little or as much as you really want. And I think we help guide you through the process of discovery, but also we're going to guide you through the entire process. So don't feel like you need to come to the table with all this extra expertise.
Yeah.
It's great if you do. We have customers that we've built websites for them 4 or 5 times, and now we're just so in sync with some of the things. They know exactly what we're looking for, and we can speed through the process a little bit. But we work really well with people that have never done a website project before, and we kind of walk them through the right questions and kind of just get a feel for what they're into. So preparation for something like this, whatever you feel comfortable with, and we kind of work you through it.
When it goes well, it should just feel like a conversation.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, here's 7 questions, come up with the right answers, be prepared for them. If we want to explore something, we'll explore something. If there's not a lot, it'll just depend on you and where you're at and what you're working on. So yeah, it should be relaxed and fun.
Absolutely. So next is design.
Yeah, let's talk about design.
So design is where I get my kind of hooks into it. I'm the developer designer guy. Jesse is more of the communications management type guy, and I get into super deep into the it's got to flow nicely. It's got to have the right colors. It's got to have the right images. But with all the knowledge that I have from the discovery process, I can craft something that fits, at least at this phase, in my opinion, fits well for you. So again, don't feel like you need to come to the table with good design concepts and give them to us. This is something that we help you kind of see as we unfold it throughout the process.
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to honor any design preferences you might have coming into it, be aware of them, have you help us understand why those particular approaches might be valuable for the goal and purpose of the project that we're working on. But ultimately, we're just taking a bunch of notes on everything we learn. Absolutely. And then in some ways, it's like, at this point, practically speaking, it's like we might take a week or two break in terms of meeting together, where Dave's going into a cave and trying to translate all that we've gathered into something that might be a beautiful design that starts to bring some concrete shape to this project. So we can begin to see, like, oh, here's what it might look like. And it'll be like we're not talking about like sketches, we're talking about an actual website that right. just might not have all the content in it. It might have Latin words or stock
and it might
pictures.
Not be fully functional.
Yeah.
You know, like you click on a blog post and it doesn't actually take you to the blog post for the one that you clicked on. It's just a mock-up of what it looks like if there was a blog post there.
And in some ways, it's going to help us know, did we hear you right in the discovery process? I think everything we're doing is iterative, and that's how the until you love it process works. Is we're going to ask questions till we think we understand. We're going to make something, show it to you, and go, did we hear you right? And you'll be able to say to us, yeah, absolutely. Oh, this is exactly what I was hoping for. Or maybe even I didn't even imagine this, but yes, I can see how this would really help. Or maybe they're saying to us, I don't know about that. That's and then we'll do more discovery to say, well, what's not right about it? What doesn't feel good? And try and get better understanding so we can come with a new design. And again, until you love it, we're not moving forward at that point. But if you do love it, and when you do love it, I think that's when we begin to move into the development and content phase. But not until then. We might hang out in that initial design phase for a while. And there are certain aspects of the design phase that will continue throughout the project.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe you've been to websites with home pages, and then it has an about page, or maybe a contact page, other pages. We might give a general design, but we haven't really necessarily fleshed out what all those other pages are going to look like. And so we'll be sort of doing this mini discovery design, give us feedback process throughout.
Yeah, it's really important for us to just make sure we're on the right path with you. We'll show you some things as quick as possible so that we can get that feedback coming back to us and say, yeah, we're on the right path, or no, we need to double back. We won't develop the entire website and just give it to you and go, hey, this is what you should have. Because that's just not the way we work. We're not that way.
It ends up taking a lot longer, although it sounds like it could be a much faster process to just go, hey, here's the whole thing. But the reality is, by getting you loving it each step of the way, we end up taking a much straighter path to the end goal than any other approach in our experience.
Yep. So let's get into development and content.
Yeah.
Okay, so development and content, this is when we're building out all the pages. We're trying to put the text in there. We're trying to put the pictures in there. And this is where, on some projects, if you're local to our area, we'll get a photographer to come out and shoot some photos of you, your organization, your process, your location, the product. Because we found that great quality photos really make the website. So that's something we kind of hang our hats on, and we really appreciate when we have some good photos for a website. But then we move into, again, it's all iterative. So we go through the process of let's do the homepage. So let's work on this content section and that content section. And we continue to work on that until we've built out all the pages.
This might be a good time to talk about Trello, which is the project management tool we use that we're using it throughout, but by the time we get into the development and content phase, we bring our customers into that tool. Think of it like a virtual bulletin board that you can view on your phone or your computer screen. And on that bulletin board, we've got like virtual 3x5 cards that say, hey, here's my job this week. I'm going to be developing the words words that need to go on the homepage splash screen. What are those words going to be? This is a task. It's assigned to Dave, it's assigned to Jesse, it's assigned to you, and oh, check mark, it's done. And it allows us to keep track of all the things everyone who's involved in the project is working on, and for anyone to be able to see at any time, day or night, has any progress been made on that? Or does someone have a question or a need? Or maybe we've asked you for some words and you've put the words up. We can go and find those words and actually put them on the website, see how they look, and then assign you a task. Hey, take a look at those words on the website. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down or a, hey, let's talk about it at our next meeting kind of thing. So anyway, we'll use that Trello tool for that, and don't worry, we'll teach you how to use it. If you're not techie and you'd prefer to just send us emails or whatever, it's fine. We'll take that information, we'll put it on the Trello board so you can at least still look at it if you want to see what's happening and have progress updates in between the meetings that were happening. And usually at this point we're meeting every week or 2 weeks, and we're doing like a show and tell, I should say, where whatever we talked about the previous week, we got our tasks, we went back, we worked on them, and now we have something new on the website to show you. And you look at it and go like, hey, I love that. Or, hey, let's change this. And that becomes a new task for the next week. And we'll just keep doing that show and tell until this phase is relatively complete. And I think we call it development and content. They sound like two things, but they're happening simultaneously. I think content we talk about as like the words and pictures, images, colors that are going to be facing anyone who visits this website. And then the development is sort of the behind the scenes coding, building out the tools you'll be using later to put content up. If maybe there's a blog or news updates, or you have a calendar of events or things like that. We're going to build those back-end tools that let you be able to use this website as a living, breathing thing for years to come.
Yeah, let me go back into the content management portion of a website, because we get a lot of questions about, can I make changes to my website? Can I make changes to content? And we've created our own content management system where you can log in to a secure site and update specific sections, and it's very clear and easy to understand. So you can literally give the URL to an intern and the login and password, and they should be able to pick it up and run with it fairly quick. So we decided to go this route because it was the easiest for you all, not the easiest for us. We see that sometimes with WordPress or some of these other tools, people get lost in how to find content and how to update things and how to make changes, and we try to make that as simple as possible for you all.
Yeah, I think we have a couple of goals with this that end up getting expressed in the discovery stage, which is we want to understand going into the project, when you imagine this website, living with this website in the next couple of years, what are the kinds of things that are going to be changing regularly? What are the kinds of things that are likely to stay the same? And just building you the tools that will help you adjust the things you're going to need to be adjusting, and not putting time, energy, resources, money into parts of the website that are likely to just stay the same throughout. Obviously, down the road, if we're wrong about that, or that changes, we can build those kinds of pieces in. But it ends up being much more efficient from a time, energy, money standpoint to get that information in discovery and then just build you the stuff you'll need. I think another piece is we want to give you the power to update your website in a way that lets it be fresh and alive, but try to not make it easy for you to break the website. Yes. So we want to like limit where the changes happen so that it won't break the design. It will just let that design live and breathe.
Absolutely. So we want to give you the flexibility to make updates, but not to break it. Maybe let's move into testing.
Yeah, let's talk about testing.
Okay. Testing is where we find all the bugs and all the things that maybe don't work on an Android phone or an Apple phone or a PC browser or something like that. So it's for us to, and you all, to go and just take a look on whatever device you have. And if there's any issues that arise, you go into Trello, update a card, or send us a message and let us know what's going on. But 9 times out of 10, we've already experienced it, and we're already working on a fix for some of that stuff too. But it's important to mention that you'll be able to have a URL that's not your domain name, that's not the name of your company.com.
A website address.
A website address, but it's a kind of a obscure one that you can share with some of the people that that you'd like to have take a look at the website. And it's a good opportunity for you to then go, take a look at this, let me know what you think about it, and you can get some feedback on that as well.
And again, I think we want to find out a couple of things. We want to find out, can we break it? Like the goal is, can we break this on a laptop or on a tablet or on a phone, do something that doesn't work? Because we want to get all the broken parts out of the way. But also there's a set of things that might just be like, this works, but I don't love how it works. And we want you to love it. So it might be like, I have to press this button 3 times to get to this thing. Is there a way we can do this more quickly? Or this is kind of small and hard to read, and could we improve that? And so there might be just a number of improvements that we make, because not only do we want it to not break, we want you to love it. And this is our sort of last chance before launch to have it really be what you're looking for.
And I think it's interesting to mention as well, so many times you'll run into other websites that are within a WordPress or a Wix or something like that you can't necessarily change and modify how the website works. In our process, we're completely custom, 100% custom to exactly what you need. So within reason, we have the ability to make any change in function and feature of how the website works.
Yeah, there are a lot of conversations we have in our meetings where somebody says, "Hey, well, could we do this?" And the answer is almost always, at least from Dave. Dave's the technical person. I'm not, but Dave will be like, "Yes. Do you want to?" Yeah. And of course, that's part of our job together, is to figure out what's actually going to serve the purposes of this project, not just, put fancy stuff in for the sake of it being fancy.
And sometimes the suggestion is like, "Oh, I never really even thought about it, doing it that way." Like, that's a great suggestion. So we just implement it there on the spot.
Yeah. That's fun to have our customers dream with us and see what is going to come out on the other side. We've had a lot of projects where the end of the day, we're like, "Oh, we've never done this kind of thing before, but this is cool," and we'll be able to help other customers with that thing that customer came up with.
It's the best of all the minds in the room can come up with. Move on to launch.
Let's talk about launching.
So launch is a fantastic part. This is when we've done all the work. This is where a lot of the fun happens. We have a 14-point just checklist that Jesse and I run through just to make sure that we've done all the right things.
Which we will not describe in 14-point detail right now.
We don't want to bore you here. There's a lot of things. But it's just a final checklist just to make sure everything's all set. We will have some conversations with you in terms of like, what kind of email addresses do you need? Are there any other vanity URLs that we need to purchase and point to the right location? Don't worry if you don't know what any of that means. We're here to help you and explain the whole process through. So,
And really what that means, because the website's been alive from the beginning of the design phase, what we're doing is really just transferring that prototype we've been working on into the real website address that the people that you interact with will be coming to, that you'll be publishing, so that when they get to it, it's what shows up. Yeah, I think that's essentially the 5-step process, and our hope is that it's a lot of fun, and we are able to build something that you love and that you're going to continue to love even after launch. We're not planning on going anywhere.
Exactly.
So we'll give you tools to be able to interact with your website over time, but if you encounter things or end up having new ideas or new needs that you didn't have before, we'll be here to support you and to make those changes if needed, or to maybe make some additions to the website or to the back end that give you more power over different parts that you didn't need before but you might need in the future.
Yeah, the important thing is that we're not the type of company that likes to go away. We're always available. Send us an email, send us a text, give us a call. We're here to help you through the whole process. You have a question about SEO, you have a question about some kind of weird new phone that's out there, and will my website work with that? We're here to help you in the whole process.
We want you to love it until we launch it, but we'd like you to be able to stay in love with it. Yeah. Anything we can do to help make sure that happens, we're into.
Yeah. So, next phase of this process, if you like what you hear and you would like to work with us, send us a message on a contact form and we'll reach out to you, schedule a meetup, and we'll kind of start it off from there.
Yeah. Looking forward to talking to you.
Yeah. Thanks for watching the end of the video. We appreciate it.